Trust is a delicate treasure, a shimmering glass ornament that takes years of tender care to craft, yet shatters in a heartbeat with one careless flick. Repairing it? Well, that's a Herculean task that might take forever, if it's even possible. When someone decides to lie to you, it's no oopsie-daisy moment, no accidental tumble over their own tongue. Oh no, it's a calculated choice, a premeditated plot to pull the wool over your eyes. A lie isn't a stumble in the dark, it's a full-on betrayal, a jagged crack splitting the bedrock of any relationship worth a darn. Now, when that lie isn't just a one-off but a repeat performance, a habit they've polished to a shine, that crack doesn't just widen, it's a thundering collapse, a house of cards tumbling into chaos. Some bleeding hearts might chime in, oh, forgive them. Everyone deserves a second chance. But let's get real, how often does a serial fibber actually turn over a new leaf? How many times has that smooth talker who swore, hand on heart, never again, actually stuck to their guns? Words are cheap, my friends, pennies on the dollar, and a person who's woven deceit into their very soul doesn't change just because you've got a soft spot for them. No, they only shape up when the stakes get personal, when they've got skin in the game. And don't be fooled, lies aren't always loud, brash declarations. Sometimes they're sneaky little silences, the truths they dodge, the details they conveniently forget to mention. You feel it, don't you? That nagging twist in your gut when their story wobbles like a bad rerun, when their gaze skitters away for just a split second too long. You sense the rot, but oh, how we love to play pretend. We want to trust, to cling to the fairy tale, yet trust isn't about wishing on a star. It's about knowing, bone deep, what's real. And deep down, you know a liar doesn't respect you. They'll croon about love, swear they cherish you, but love without truth? That's just a slick Broadway act, rehearsed to keep you off balance, doubting your own compass. Here's the kicker, they don't lie for your sake, they lie for theirs. To dodge the fallout, to keep the reins tight, to twist the world into a shape that suits them. And every time you let a lie slide, you're handing them a free pass to do it again. You're teaching them your trust is a trinket, something they can smash and glue back together whenever it suits them. So what's the move? Confront them? Demand the unvarnished truth? And if they fess up, if they muster a teary, "I'm sorry," do you roll the dice again? Here's the cold, hard fact, they're not sorry for the lie, they're sorry they got nabbed. A truly penitent soul doesn't wait for the spotlight, they spill their guts because the guilt's too heavy, not because you dragged it out of them. But how often does that happen? A liar volunteering the truth before you even smell a rat? Rare as a unicorn, my friends. Some betrayals leave scars that don't fade, and the sting of a habitual lie. That's one of them. It's not just the false words, it's what they rob from you, your peace, your faith in your own instincts, your ability to ever trust again. So next time someone spins you a yarn, ask yourself, what's it worth to you? Because trust, once broken, isn't so easily stitched back together, no matter how sweet the apologies sound. Disrespect isn't always the loud, in-your-face kind with shouting matches or venomous words spat out in a red-hot rage. Oh no, the real menace is the sneaky sort, the quiet disrespect that slinks in like a cat burglar, wearing a grin, hiding behind a chuckle, a flippant remark, or a shrug that says, "Who cares?" You felt it, haven't you? You pour out your heart, lay bare your worries, your hurts, and what do? They brush it off with a laugh, roll their eyes, tell you you're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's not just disrespect, that's erasure, a cold-blooded mission to make you feel like your emotions, your story, your voice are all just background noise. It starts small, doesn't it? A little jab here, a "just kidding" there. But disrespect is like rust on an old jalopy, ignore it, and it creeps, it spreads, it corrodes. Before you know it, you're not in a relationship built on mutual care and warm fuzzies anymore. You're stuck in a lopsided mess where your feelings are optional extras, your needs shoved to the back burner, and somehow you've been trained to settle for crumbs when you once dreamed of the whole cake. Respect isn't a favor you grovel for, it's not a prize you win after jumping through hoops. It's the bare minimum, the bedrock of any bond worth its salt, be it with a lover, a kinfolk, or a pal. Without it, love's just a hollow tune, sweet nothings turn sour, promises ring as empty as a politician's handshake, and every special moment is shadowed by the nagging truth, they could toss your feelings out the window without blinking. There's always that type, isn't there? The boundary pushers, the ones who test how far they can stretch you before you snap. And if you don't push back, they'll keep nibbling away, inch by inch, until you're left with zilch. A person who respects you doesn't need a manual or a stern talking to, they don't need you to draw them a map to your worth. They get it, plain and simple. The biggest blunder you can make is sitting someone down and spelling out how they ought to treat you. If they don't already see it, if they need a PowerPoint presentation to spot your value, they're never going to cherish you the way you deserve. Not in this lifetime. So here's the crossroads, friends. Do you stick around, crossing your fingers that one day they'll wake up, smell the coffee, and see you for the gem you are? Do you keep forgiving, keep explaining, keep swallowing less and less, hoping they'll finally get it? Or do you hit the road, not with a huff and a puff, not with a grudge weighing you down, but with a calm, steady certainty that you're worth more? You deserve honesty, respect, and those who don't need a magnifying glass to spot your shine. Life's too short to waste on the clueless. Here's the magic part, when you finally decide to stop letting people treat you like a doormat, when you plant your feet and say, enough. Something downright amazing happens. The right ones stick around, the wrong ones hightail it out, and for the first time in forever, you're free. Free to breathe, free to be you, free to bask in the glorious truth that you're not less than anyone, just wonderfully, perfectly, enough. There's a sneaky, downright diabolical danger in thinking your piece is some kind of sacrificial lamb, less important than someone else's guilty conscience, something you've got to toss overboard so they can sail away, absolved of their sins. It's a trap, a sly, creeping snare that whispers forgiveness is your only noble path, that hauling the weight of their screw-ups is some badge of honor. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's self-betrayal with a capital S. People will beg for your pardon not because they're drowning in regret, oh no, they just can't handle the itch of their own guilt. They're not after redemption, they want a get-out-of-jail-free card, a shiny clean slate to skip off into the sunset, unburdened. But here's the million-dollar question, where does that baggage land? It doesn't vanish into thin air, it plops right onto your shoulders. They waltz away, light as a feather, whistling a happy tune, while you're stuck with their betrayal lodged in your soul like a splinter you can't dig out. Talk about a raw deal. The gall of it, expecting you to play the saint, to be the bigger person, to sprinkle grace on those who haven't earned a drop of it. Newsflash, being bigger doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean letting someone rewrite history just because they've decided they're tired of lugging their shame around. Your peace. It's worth more than their guilt trips, more than their 11th hour, I'm sorry's, more than their sudden epiphany that, oops, they messed up. And if guarding that peace means slamming the forgiveness door shut, then lock it tight and toss the key, because not everyone deserves a backstage pass to your life after they've trashed the stage. There's a steep price to keeping the wrong crowd around, to doling out chance after chance to those who've already shown their true colors. That price? Your self-respect, chipped away bit by bit. Every time you let a repeat offender back in, you're sending yourself a memo. Hey, your pain's no biggie, your feelings are up for grabs, your heart's a punching bag, have at it. You've got a duty, a sacred one, to stand up for yourself, to honor your emotions, your boundaries, your worth. Sometimes that means showing the door to those who can't be trusted to treat you right. Sometimes it's a firm, nope, you don't get to waltz back in and soothe your conscience by trampling my peace. There's this fairy tale floating around that good people always forgive, that big hearts hand out second chances like candy at a parade. Baloney. The strongest, wisest souls, the ones who truly know their value, get when it's time to hit the eject button. They see some betrayals are permanent, some wounds don't knit up, some ties aren't worth the thread to mend them. You're not here to be a pack mule for someone else's shame, nor a therapist to patch up their ego. Your job, your only job, is to look out for you, your healing, your calm, your sanity. If forgiveness means choking on your own peace, if it's just a mask to pretend the unforgivable never went down, then it's not your road to take. So, ditch the guilt peddlers, the slate wipers, the ones who think your soul's a landfill for their trash. Say it loud, not my circus, not my monkeys. Because when you stop playing cleanup crew for other people's messes, something glorious happens. You reclaim your space, your strength, and oh, what a relief it is to just be free. There's a bitter pill to swallow about betrayal, one that's tough to choke down. It's got zilch to do with you and everything to do with them. It's not a report card on your worth, your kindness, or your knack for loving. It's a neon sign flashing their character, their cracks, their failure to muster up a shred of honesty, loyalty, or plain old decency. Yet, how many of us clutch betrayal to our chests like a personal failing? As if it's proof we weren't enough, weren't shiny enough, lovable enough, to deserve the straight truth and a little respect. Hogwash. Betrayal isn't your inadequacy on display, it's their weakness strutting its stuff. It's the smoking gun of their missing backbone, their gutless dodge of doing the right thing. You're not the story here. Never were. Once that penny drops, once you really let it sink in, something clicks. The pain's still there, sure, but it loosens its claws. That endless merry-go-round of, was it me? Did I fall short? Could I have fixed it? Screeches to a halt. In its place? A rock-solid certainty, a truth that doesn't budge. You weren't betrayed because of who you are, you were betrayed because of who they are. Some people will stare you dead in the eye, swear on their grandma's grave they're on the level, then waltz off to keep their charade going like your trust is a cheap yo-yo they can spin for kicks. And when the jig's up, don't expect tears of remorse. Nope, just regret. Regret they couldn't keep the con alive, regret they didn't sweep the crumbs under the rug better, regret they've got to face the music. But you're not the janitor for their mess, not the fairy godmother waving a wand to erase their oopsies, and let them back in because they've got the sads now. They rolled the dice, let them live with the fallout. You're not here to patch up their shaky morals or play therapist to their refusal to own up. And you sure as heck don't owe them forgiveness just because they mumbled a sorry. They'll spin you a yarn, it was a mistake, they didn't mean it, they were confused, lost, going through a thing. Baloney. When push came to shove, they didn't pick honesty. They didn't pick loyalty. They didn't pick you. That's your neon-lit closure right there, no fancy bows needed. Here's the kicker, the one truth that doesn't flinch: people don't stab the ones they truly treasure in the back. And if they can pull it off once, they've got the chops to do it again. So don't burn your days dissecting the why of it all, hunting for that magic puzzle piece to make it click. It won't, because the glitch was never in your wiring. It was them, their choices, their flaws, their Oscar-worthy act of pretending to be someone they're not. When you finally get that, really get it, the shackles fall off. You're free, free from lugging their betrayal like a backpack, free from the guilt of not playing forgiver-in-chief, free to strut away with your head high, knowing you're worth more than the lies, the games, the garbage they tried to sell you as a life. There's no shame in saying nope to forgiveness, no weakness in picking yourself over someone who'd have torched you to ashes if you'd let them. That's not defeat, that's strength, that's power, that's the quiet, ironclad truth that you deserve better. And once you own that, once it's carved in your bones, no one, nada, zilch, will ever hold the reins to betray you again. You're untouchable, my friend, and that's the sweetest victory of all. There's a nasty little trap a lot of people fall into, thinking kindness is some kind of cosmic boomerang. Toss it out there, Forgive like it's going out of style, sprinkle grace like confetti, and surely it'll come bouncing back with a thank you note. That's not how the world spins, friends, and it's definitely not how people tick. Some see your kindness as a kick me sign, your forgiveness as a green light, your second chances as an engraved invite to stab you in the back again. And trust me, they will. It's a tough nugget to swallow, but swallow it we must. Not every jerk who hurts you is sorry, not every "my bad" is legit, and not every "I'll change" comes with a shred of follow-through. There are boundary pushers out there, not because they're itching to grow into better humans, but because they're playing, how much can I get away with? The more you shrug off, the more you tolerate, the more you let your standard slide, the more they grab, not by accident, not by some happy fluke, but because they've clocked that you'll let them. Manipulation doesn't always strut in with a villain's cape and a twirled mustache. Sometimes it's a sneaky whisper, a guilt trip, a sly nudge that leaves you second-guessing your own noggin. They'll chirp, "You're overreacting, you're too sensitive, you're seeing things," until you're nodding along like a bobblehead, doubting your own radar. That's the con, it doesn't snatch control, it sweet-talks you into handing it over. They'll swear their dagger wasn't aimed at your heart, that their betrayal was just a hoopsie, that if you'd only get them, everything be peachy. Newsflash, they don't want your understanding, they want your surrender. They want you to hush that gut voice screaming, "Something's off," to wave off your reality so theirs can keep chugging along, unchallenged. Once you bite, once they see you'll question yourself to keep them comfy, they've got you right where they want you, hook, line, and sinker. Some don't prey on you because they're mustache-twirling evil, they do it because they can. They've cracked the code, a perfectly timed sob, a honey-dipped apology, a guilt bomb hefty enough to make you feel like the bad guy for bolting, and boom, you're still there. You stay, proving their antics don't cost them a dime, and guess what? They'll rerun the show. There's no gold star for letting yourself be a doormat, no muscle flexed in cooking up excuses for someone who won't budge an inch. Forgive a disrespect once, and they'll learn it's open season. Let a betrayer back in, and they'll figure betrayal's just a speed bump to you. Keep eating hurt after hurt, betting they'll magically stop, and they'll see you're ready to bleed for a fairy tale, love, that's all smoke and mirrors. But here's the real game changer, the knockout punch stronger than forgiveness, freer than playing therapist to their mess, knowing when to walk away. That's the ticket, not hanging around for their encore, not betting on a rewrite that'll never come. If they disrespect you and you bounce, they learn you've got a spine. If they betray you and you shut the door, they learn you're no pushover. And if they keep swinging and you stop catching, they learn you're done bankrolling their chaos. So ditch the script where you're the sucker, step off stage, head high, and let them figure out the plot twist. You're the star, not their punching bag, and the show's over when you say it is. Walking away isn't weakness, it's not a tantrum, not a cold shoulder, not a mean streak. It's survival, pure and simple. People love to preach that love means sticking it out through the muck, that relationships are all about elbow grease, that loyalty equals forgiveness on tap. Sure, that holds water, but only if the other person treasures you as much as you do them. Love isn't a one-way street of pain, a martyr's marathon, or a test where you prove your worth by eating endless misery. Love's a two-player game, or it's nada. If someone can ditch you when you're at rock bottom, turn their back while you're gasping for air, or stroll off without a backward glance while you're sinking, that's not love, not the real deal. Love doesn't clock out when the going gets tough, fade when the chips are down, or saunter back only when the coast is clear. You've seen the type, haven't you? The buddy who's all smiles and life's a picnic but vanishes faster than a magician's rabbit when the storm clouds roll in. The partner who swears you're their world, until your world cracks, and suddenly they're allergic to your tears. The relative who only dials your number when their hand's out. These people don't love you, they love your perks, the cozy vibe you bring, the safety net of your reliability, the free buffet of your support. But when you're the one wobbling, when you're the one reaching for the loyalty you've dished out like Sunday gravy, poof, they're gone. A person who bails and you're at your weakest doesn't deserve a front row seat to your comeback. If they can abandon you when you are at your lowest, if they can ignore your pain, if they can come up with endless excuses not to be there when you need them the most, then they have already made their choice. They have chosen to walk away. Now, it is time for you to make yours. Hardship's the ultimate litmus test for any bond. Anyone can hang around when it's all sunshine and cocktails, big whoop. But when the thunder rumbles, the walls cave in, and the shadows creep close, that's when the masks slip. If their true colors are to bolt, to ditch, to leave you wrestling the dark alone, they're not your keeper. Some ties aren't built for the long haul. Some people are pop quizzes, not forever friends, and the sooner you clock that, the freer you'll feel. Not everyone who waltzes into your story gets a lifetime contract. You don't need to grovel for someone to stick by you, to audition for your own worth. The right ones? They don't budge. They don't dodge. They don't leave you hanging when you're down for the count. Walking away isn't about rage or scoring points, it's about self-respect. It's knowing you can't arm twist someone into caring, can't coach them into being who you need, can't whip up love like a recipe gone wrong. When someone shows you their loyalty's a fair weather fling, their love a convenience store special, believe them. Step off, not because you've stopped caring, not because your heart's gone cold, but because you care enough about yourself to quit chasing a ghost who's already checked out. Life's too short to squander on fair-weather fans and backstabbers. So dust off your boots, lift your chin, and stride into the sunset, not bitter, not broken, but bold, because you're worth more than a love that only shows up when the weather's fine. Forgiveness isn't some mandatory chore, it's not a tax you owe or a box to check off. It's a privilege, a VIP pass handed out only to those who've genuinely earned it, the ones who show up with real remorse and a receipt for a second chance. But for the chronic liars, the disrespect dealers, the manipulators, and the ones who bolt when you need them? Nope, don't forgive, don't forget, and for heaven's sake, don't crane your neck looking back. This is your life, your fortress, guard it like the treasure it is.